sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, day we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. Day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, every day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle dripping heat, tigers strike the city streets. East side stand up, west side stand up. If you reppin' who they, time to put your hands up. Bingo stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fitted. Who they in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the bounce, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that who they muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes, then you let the city know you rock 'em. Yeah, we got 'em. Yeah, we fought 'em. Like that black and orange upon 'em. Bingo bottle, never stop it. To the beast and know who they rockin' with the diamond stripes. Flossin' on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, day we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. Day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move on? Day when we fight, live and die in these stripes.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I'm bringing you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of Jackpot Joey and the AFC North champion Cincinnati Bengals. Not do me a favor, if you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button, smash that thumbs up. You guys are awesome. I'm up to 1,822 subscribers. That is great. Trying to get to 2,000 by the time the Bengals season rolls around, which is very, very soon. First preseason game is Friday night. Opening night, everyone say it is September 11th against the Squealers. So let's try to get me there by then. I would greatly appreciate it. So if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, why not? Please do so. Please go to the YouTube channel Sports with Strawberry Ice. Hit the subscription button, hit the bell for the notification, and every time I go live, you'll be notified. Also, exclusively in the YouTube chat crew, we're doing super chats. So if you have a question that you're dying to ask my man, Just Eric, to answer, and you want him to answer it, give me a super chat. I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave. The Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. What's up to everybody in the chat? What's up, Joe? Edward, you want to know who did the video? The video is Stripes. It's by Gift Vader and by Black Light Productions. You can find it on Spotify, so check them out there. Nicholas, Joe, Haas, who else is in there? I haven't said hi to yet. Chase, you said you saw me at Bengals training camp. That's cool, man. I'm down there almost every day. I hope you stopped by and said hi, stranger. You're always in there. What's going on? All right. So, as you guys know, I go down to the training camp as much as I can, and I try to get some really cool videos. Well, I got an amazing catch that I have to share here with you guys. I tweeted out earlier today by Uno, Jamar Chase. This is why we have one of, if not the best wide receiver in all of football in Jamar Chase. Check this out. One-handed snag, aimed to the ball up there. That was awesome.
He gave it to him?
Yeah. It was so cool. He got separation from Eli. Eli had good position. Had got separation, stuck his arm up there, caught it. Toe tap swag in, threw the ball to the kid. Can't get much better than that. Anyway, I had to share that real quick before we get to my great guest today. He's just Eric. He's on Twitter. He's got his YouTube channel. He's always in the spaces with Ace and Zim. And those guys are blowing that stuff up. If you guys haven't checked out the space on Twitter, you definitely got to check it out with my man Eric and Zim. Let's get to Eric. Eric, my man, what's going on, brother?
My man, what's going on, brother? I appreciate the intro, my brother. Thank you so much, man. What a great video, man.
Like I said, you guys are killing it on the spaces. I can't go on there as much as you guys do, because when there's a million people on there and it's kind of hard to talk, and some of the stuff that gets said on there is really, really silly from other teams. I think, and I have a hard time biting my tongue, but you guys do a great job at that.
Yeah, man. Spaces is honestly, it's gotten a lot better now. Man, maybe like people were bored in the off season like 2 months ago, and it was the most volatile thing I've ever taken a part of. Like it was, people just outrageous things. And like you said, people just talking all over each other.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, I have time. I just listen to it a little while, and I'm like, all right, I've had enough. Or if it just irritates me, I go, all right, I got to say something, which doesn't happen very often because I just can't handle that stuff. So some of the things that people are saying there, it's just crazy talk. But I mean, so let's talk about the Bengals here in the 2022 season, and we just saw this great catch by Jamar Chase. And one of the coolest things when you go down to training camp is watching the DBs versus the wide receivers. To me, that is the most real thing you're going to see down there so far, because they're not really hitting. They are in pads, but it's not real football. But that is as real as you're going to get without having a live game. And that was a hell of a catch. And dude, we've talked about this on Spaces. The Migos, they are the best wide receiver trio in the NFL, I think.
Yeah, that's the best wide receiver trio in the NFL. I don't know if you've seen the Pivot podcast. They had all three of them together, man. I thought it was a great conversation. They talked a little trash. They talked about some great matchups. But most of all, man, I think the awesome thing that you saw in that podcast is that this is a group of guys who are extremely talented. There's no trio in the NFL like this group. But they also have a brotherhood. And Tyler Boyd kept talking about the selflessness across the team, which I think that's what makes this team run. And, man, how lucky are we to have this group of guys, and how lucky are we to have Tyler Boyd, who basically played with A.J. Green and kind of learned how to become a leader through AJ.
Right.
So special, man.
It's ridiculous. The group of guys that we have here, the Migos, Jackpot, Joe Mixon, Trey Hendrickson, Sam Hubbard, these guys, those are the core of this team. And the character and the camaraderie that these guys have is unparalleled. I haven't seen it. They really genuinely like each other, and they genuinely pull for each other. I really don't think there's an ego. Well, they all got egos, but I mean, nobody's jealous of you got the ball more than I did, or I got the ball more than you did, or whatever. I mean, case in point, I keep saying this is the Joe Mixon run last year in Detroit. When who's out in front blocking is Uno, and if he doesn't freaking make those blocks, Mixon doesn't take it to the house.
Yep. Yeah, man. I mean, Joey, Jackpot Joey, like you call him, man. Joe Mixon, the Migos. Man, you throw Hayden Hurst in there.
Yep.
You throw that offensive line in there. I mean, dude, people don't want to recognize what's going on in front of them, man, because it might be hard for people in the general public or the media to really recognize what's going on here. But realistically, man, this could be the best team in the NFL if the offensive line really holds up, man. I saw someone say it today, and we've kind of been talking about it and beating the drum on Spaces, but the reality is, man, this team, it's a special team, and there's really no better time. It's great to be a Bengals fan always, but what a time to be a Bengals fan, man. What a time to put that orange and black jersey on and say, who they? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And another good news today is Lyle Collins was at practice in pads. I mean, he didn't fully participate. He said it's not 100% go, which, look, everybody kept talking about, Lyle misses games here and there. Well, you know what? The Bengals structured his contract, so he loses money if he doesn't play in games. So Lyle, I don't think gives two craps about the preseason. He just wants to make sure he's ready to go game one and he's healthy throughout the whole year. And that's a good sign of because we're all worried about his back. So all three of the glass eaters, the linemen that we signed, are in pads and participating in practice.
Yeah, man. That's what you hope for when you bring in three veterans, right? I mean, Lyle Collins, he's been out until today. I haven't been able to make it down there. I live in DC actually, but Lyle Collins is massive, man. Alex Kappa, he's a dude that just loves ball. And Ted Karras, man, is, from what I hear based on the reports and listen to interviews, he's just someone that's super intelligent, will probably be a coach one day, and that everybody loves. So you put those three together, man, and the Bengals spent $74 million on the offensive line this offseason. You know, no one talked about that. You know?
I know.
But, I mean, that's what you hope for, man, and you just got to hope those guys stay healthy throughout the entire season. They're going to be getting banged up here or there, but ultimately, if they can stay healthy, just like Lyle Collins said today, at this point in his career, he just wants to win. And I think that's what everybody's focused on.
Exactly. And that's what I want them to focus on. I just want them to win. You know, Haas here's got a shout out to you. He says, "Love your podcast, man. How's it been with Cincinnati since you guys started that thing?"
I appreciate that, man. Shout out to Ace and Zim, man, for giving me the opportunity to join the Cincinnati team. I kind of did podcasting a little bit prior to that. I wasn't quite an expert at it. I actually was a little nervous about doing it. But it's been awesome, man. Ace and Zim allowed me to have creativity and really talk about whatever I want to do. And it's awesome, man. Ace and Zim are great guys, and they have a lot of knowledge. And, being able to work on this team, man, I kind of learned a lot about myself, right, and hold myself accountable to do it daily or weekly.
Yeah.
So,
Zim always tells me, he goes, "I don't know how in the world you do it every day." I said, "It's not easy." It's not easy to do it every day,
man. Kudos to you, bro, because doing it every day, man, is a grind, and much respect to you, brother, because I know the hard work you put into it.
Well, I appreciate it, man. But yeah, a shout out to, like I said, the Aces, and those are my boys. I've had them both on the show. They're both great guys, and they've been killing it. I mean, I know they had Cheetah Bay on, I think last night, it was.
Yeah.
They had him on, so that was good. And it was funny. I was at practice, and I go down. I've talked to all the players or whatever. And Eli's got my card, and Eli was signing autographs. I was like, "Eli, man, do you ever come on a podcast?" He goes, "What's your podcast?" I said, "Sports Strawberry Ice." He goes, "Are you the one that's blowing me up all the time?" I said, "Yes." I'm like, "Yeah, it's me. You gotta jump on, dude." And so I try not to bug him too much because I don't know how else to get a hold of him to get him on there. But hopefully,
man, you gotta stay persistent. Stay persistent, man.
Yeah, Eli said he'd be on. Mike Hill told me to my face he on. But hey, eventually they will. I mean, Ted Karras jumped on, so I just keep grinding and just have fun doing this. But man. So what do you got coming up on your podcast here, and what day is it? And tell me a little bit more about the one that you do.
Yeah, man. So my podcast drops every Monday. Typically, man, I kind of, my podcast is a little unique, right? I try to really talk about maybe specific things that people may not be talking about at that time and point with the team. So a lot of the creative direction of my podcast, really, as far as like a topic from day to, from podcast to podcast, the next one may not have anything to do with the last.
Right.
But it's all Bengals related, you know what I'm saying? And what I really want to focus on is slaying the narratives. I played defense and in college, so a lot of times I do like to focus on the defensive side of the ball. And really, man, just bringing some, good content to the people, allowing them to maybe provide a different perspective, maybe talking about specific players, just so we can get the word out there about our guys or what's going on as far as the battles that we're having in camp right now. So it's unique in that sense, but it's always evolving, man. I'm always trying to grow and get better too. So
right, exactly.
That's the one thing.
I think you're doing a great job, man. I think you're doing good here. Let's get to a Cincinnati Bengal here. He says, so all the offensive line is good except the guard position. Who do you think is going to take that spot? I think it's Jackson Carman. He hasn't moved.
Yeah, man. He's talking about left guard. I'm assuming. So he's talking about
right guard's going to be.
Right guard is good, man. And Alex, we got Jackson Carman and Cordell Volson battling it out. Look, man, I said this today in the spaces. Jackson Carman on paper is the guy who should win this job. He has the height, he has the pedigree, he's got the power, he has the athleticism. Right now, a lot of times when you watch Jackson Carman, sometimes you do see him get bull rushed and pushed into the backfield. You know what I'm saying? So I think it is. I do think it's still very much so an open competition. I like Cordell Volson. I really like him coming out of North Dakota State University,
Mm-hmm.
and just hearing him talk, he just seems like a kid that brings his lunch pail to work every day, and a guy I would want to take to a fight. Like this guy, he's gonna bring it every day.
Well,
You know
hell,
what I'm
dude,
saying?
he worked with his dad on the railroad, so
Yeah, man. This is a kid
yeah.
this is a tough kid right here, man. And you see it every time you hear him he get interviewed. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
He's tough as hell, man.
Exactly. Now I say it's Jackson Carman because 90% of the time I'm going down there, Jackson's with the ones. I mean, it really hasn't been a lot of switching in and out. I mean, it's been Jackson's. Now they haven't come out and said it or anything yet, but it's Jackson's to lose. And to his credit, he's came to camp in shape, and it seems like they've been very pleased with him. Now, between now and the beginning of the season, I don't know, but right now, I think it's Jackson Carman's to lose. And to be honest, this is what I kept saying last year, that offensive line is I'm stealing this from Duke Tobin. Offensive line is one of the hardest positions to come from college into the NFL. And along with Jackson was switching positions, going from guard to tackle. So now he's had a whole year at guard. It was right, granted it's right guard, but now it's left guard, which actually might help him better because he was a left tackle. It might be a little easier for him. There could be a huge. I'm expecting a big jump from him. Guys, remember the big jumps that Logan Wilson had last year, and Joe Burrow and all these guys in their second years that they had. It could be a big jump. And Eric, if he has a big jump, we could have for one of the worst offensive lines in football, brother. We could have a top 5. Top 10.
Yeah. Projected right now, when you look at the offensive line projections based on the additions, I think the Bengals were in the top 10 to 15 range. So that just tells you right there, and that's without even playing a snap, right? You mentioned Jackson Carman kind of, being the lead guy right now and his job to lose. You're 100% spot on. I think a lot kind of changes when you get those game reps and the preseason starts. I don't know how many reps Jackson Carman is going to get tomorrow, but I imagine because he's in a battle with Cordell Volson, we're going to see him tomorrow. Right. We're going to see both. And as we go through these games and we see how they play, of course, every day is an evaluation for these guys. We'll see, man. I like Jackson Carman a lot. And I'm excited about this offensive line, man. I can't tell you, Ice. I'm pumped.
Dude, I just keep thinking, like, what this – because I remember having this conversation on my show last year. Everybody kept asking, when's the offense going to get consistent? Because, we'd have games where they played awesome. Then other ones they didn't. They were up and down a lot last year. And I kept saying, it's offensive line play. I said, it's all predicated on that. If you don't have time to throw the ball and you don't have holes for Joe Mixon to run the ball, which how excited do you think Joe Mixon is about this offensive line? I mean, this is going to be the best offensive line probably he's ever had. This is better than once he had in Oklahoma. I mean, Mixon, I think, is about to ball out this year.
Yeah, man, this is 100% the best offensive line that Mixon has played with. And there's a stat out there floating around, man. I think Zem brought it to my attention. Last season, the Bengals were number 1 as far as, penetration on run plays. And what I'm saying is basically when they hand the ball off to Joe Mixon, half of the time someone's in the backfield with him. So, just having that better offensive line, Joe Mixon, you already know, to me, he's a top 5 back.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's super talented, super underrated. Honestly, Pac-Man Jones was calling him 2K Joe. I don't see a reason why Joe Mixon couldn't be 2K all-purpose.
Yeah, all-purpose. Well, he's not going to get enough carries to get it on the ground, but all-purpose,
exactly.
Why not?
Yeah,
absolutely. Now, hopefully, a big thing for him, I think, is to be able to stay on the field of third down. That's going to be a big thing if he can stay in there for the blocking. And that was the plan last year. Yeah. But as we saw toward the end of the season, P-Ron was in there.
Unfortunately, I think that as much as I think Joe Mixon will still have some third down snaps, kind of like we saw last year. It was very few. Mm-hmm. But I think maybe sometimes in the pass blocking game, not that Joe Mixon is poor at it. I think Samaje P-Ryan might be the more consistent blocker.
Right.
And I think that, sometimes you gotta, on third down, if you're it's a 3rd and 7 or 3rd and long or something like that, you're passing.
Right.
You need that extra protection. Now, here's the deal though, with an improved offensive line, let's see how our offensive line holds up. Mm-hmm. And if we're going to be keeping that back in a lot less.
It might be empty. They might go empty at 3rd and 7 or whatever. Which Jackpot loves third. He loves empty. That's his favorite formation. So
yeah, man. And then you talk about Chris Evans, right?
Oh,
you talk about Chris Evans.
I want him, dude. I hope they use him because he can do so much stuff. I want to see him at kick returner. I want to see him split out wide. I want to see him on bubble screen. I want to see him run the ball. There's so many things that kid can do that they haven't taken advantage of or haven't been able to yet.
Yeah, man, he's an extremely special talent, man. I think and I'm not to be dropping names all the time, but my buddy Game On, he's a guy that runs in the spaces too. Very, very good host. But he went to practice as well too, and he was saying that they had Chris Evans actually working with the receivers too. Mm-hmm. So this tells you, I mean, you go back to just looking at Chris Evans last season, and I go back to that one game where they were in, started out with in shotgun. He was in the backfield against the Lions. They motion him out to receiver. Yep. A linebacker follows him out there, and he kills him out there on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Nobody even close.
Right.
So that's what he brings, man, and that's just going to make this offense that much more lethal, honestly.
Exactly. Now, Michael Madden here has a defense question. He said, do you guys think our D could hold teams to 10 to 12 points per game? That's pretty low. I don't know about 10 to 12, but I mean, our defense, I think our defense has a shot of being top 10, top 15 defense this year, I think. I don't think I'm overstating too much there.
I think 10 to 12, it's going to be really tough to do that, especially in today's NFL. I think our defense could be a top 10 to 15 defense. I think the biggest thing for the Bengals, if they can kind of continue what they did in the postseason, just get turnovers and give your offense more opportunities to score the ball.
Right.
That alone is going to make them more dangerous. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that Jesse Bates comes back soon. Now, if Jesse Bates is 100% coming back and he's going to play, hey,
right.
It very well could be a top 5 defense.
Oh, dude. Well, if he does, then that makes Dax and Cam Britt-Taylor even more valuable because they can play all over the place. So, I hope – look, I've said this. I don't know why in the world Jesse would not come because they can't they can trade him, but they got to sign him to trade him. So they can't really trade him. They can't even talk to him about a contract. It's done. He's got to either play and get paid $13 million, which is the most he's ever made, or he sits out and gets nothing, which I know it's a chance, but that's the cards he's dealt. So I just cannot see him missing games. I mean, honestly, I thought he'd be here by now, to be honest. He's holding out longer than I thought he would. So it is getting a little concerning. So, but I still don't think he's going to miss the first game.
Yeah, the Jesse Bates situation is an intriguing one for sure. Based on some of the interviews I've seen with some of the players, they had Cheeto Beawuzie on the Cincinnati podcast last night with Zim and Ace. Mike Hilton was on the Believe in Bengals podcast talking about Jesse coming back as well too. And you make a good point, Ice. He hasn't made this much money in a year, right? And if you're Jesse Bates, I understand, holding out, but and the franchise tag sucks for players who want long-term deals with their prospective franchise. But you look at Chris Godwin down there in the Buccaneers, man, he took the franchise tag and played. So he got franchise tag twice, I think. So
and that's the thing. Jesse could get franchise again next year. And he can't do anything about it.
Yeah, he could. And you just hope that, you hope that he shows up. If Jesse shows up, I think this defense is that much improved. And without Jesse, I think it's still a good defense. It's just going to take time for Daxton Hill to catch up on the back end. And I haven't seen many snaps of Dax in practice, but like I know, it's always about experience, right? And it takes time to gain that in a real game. So
now one thing that is helping Dax grow is not having Jesse here. So he's getting all the snaps. So that's helping. So, I mean, in a twisted kind of way, if Jesse comes back and he's full go and he's good to go week 1, it could be the best case scenario for the Bengals because Dax got all the snaps and got more acclimated with what he needs to do. And Jesse can jump in and just take over, and then Dax, they can put him wherever. So,
yep.
That's the best case scenario for me.
And man, glass half full. Like you said, man, what's the only way you can get better is from doing it. You know what I'm saying? And Daxton Hill right now is playing with the ones. Of course, Joey B's not out there, so he's not playing against maybe a super elite quarterback at the quarterback position, even though Brandon Allen is playing well, and he's an NFL quarterback and way better than anything I could ever do, guys. I'm just putting that out there.
People get on Brandon Allen drive. Oh, you got to fix the backup quarterback. He's a freaking backup quarterback. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, he's a backup for a reason. So, I mean, which is fun. I was talking to a couple of guys down there practice, and I said, these wide receivers are going to be like, oh, my goodness, it's so nice when Joe gets back at the ball, be like right here and not over here and there. Which, again, it's nothing against Brandon. I can't do any better. But Joe's an elite. His ball placement is elite. So I know.
And you talk about that crazy way to look at it, but in reality, it's actually making the receivers better. Maybe because they got to work a little bit harder to catch that ball. Maybe it's not, So Joe maybe a little bit off on one pass. They're going to catch it because they've been training like this. So no, man, it's very. This whole team in general, man, I'm just excited about the entire organization and where we're at right now as a team, man. I'm pumped, man. I really can't say enough.
Absolutely. I mean, Eric, the change that this organization has made in the last 4 years is night and day. I mean, from the players on the field to the Ring of Honor to the uniforms to the white Bengal helmets. Now, we were getting a practice facility. It's Paycor Stadium now, which I never thought that Mike Brown would ever take Paul Brown's name off of it, but he has, and that bodes well for the future of the Bengals for signing Jackpot, for signing Uno, for signing T. And I don't want anybody to forget about T. Everybody keeps saying we got to sign Jackpot and Uno, which I agree, but you got to have somebody for T too, because those three, if you can keep those three together, dude, we're gonna have an elite set of wide receivers and quarterback for years to come, and that's why I want to keep both of them if we can.
Absolutely, man. And I feel like I'm always name dropping because Bengals, man, there is like, and this is I think this is one of the most awesome things about the Bengals, man. The community on Twitter is strong. There's so much knowledge. There's so many people out there that you can learn from and just talk to. One guy that talks about, contracts is Andre Parada.
Yes, I've been trying to get him on my show.
Man, he is an absolute wizard, man. This guy knows his stuff, man. I think you hit it right on the nail, man. They gotta pay T. Higgins. They got to keep this trio together. And listening to the Pivot podcast, one thing I kind of took away from that, listening to it, T. Higgins, he said, hey, look, I was a Bengals fan my entire life.
He was.
You know what I'm saying? I love this team. You know what I mean? So I think when you hear him say that just kind of says, oh, man, I got the warm and fuzzy that this is a guy who's going to want to do whatever it takes to stay in Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely want them to pay him well and give him a good deal, but he seems like a guy who wants to be in Cincy. And that's a good part.
There's part of me that wonders if those three will take a little less to stay, because all three of them, and look, we're talking a couple $1 million, which, I mean, it's more money you and me have ever seen in our entire lives. But it's easy for us to say take less because this is life-changing, generational changing money. So it's easy for us to say take less. I always have a feeling that they will, because they like it here so much. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins would maybe take a little bit less. I think undoubtedly. I think Jamar Chase, to me, man. Look, I know that people are saying he's a top 5 receiver right now. To me, I think he's top 2, maybe even I think he's 1. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. And I think after these next couple of seasons, man, he will be number 1. And he's in GQ magazine. I mean, all these people are coming to Cincinnati to talk to this trio. And let's be honest, man, Jamar Chase is kind of the headline. So he's going to have to be paid, I think, a pretty penny. But I think the Bengals will 100% make it happen. But he's going to definitely be the highest paid out of the group. And I think T. Boy would take a deal.
That's one thing about the Bengals normally is they always pay their own players, which it cracks me up. People are like, oh, well, Mike Brown's too cheap. He's not gonna pay all these guys. Like, yes, he is. Hell, Carson Palmer at one time was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. I mean, AJ Green was up there as one of the highest paid. So, I mean, that narrative is just, I don't even know. I honestly don't know where that comes from. That's just people not knowing. That's just want to say, throw shade at Mike Brown and the Bengals, because that's completely not true.
Man, there's a lot of people out here, Ice, that have a powerful mic people listen to what they say that don't actually do their research.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they say things and people actually latch onto it without having the factual information. And then it becomes almost a fact in their mind because so-and-so said it. But the reality is, man, like you said, they once made Carson Palmer the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. They had Chad Johnson. They had Hushmanzada. They had Chris Henry. We had Terrell Owens. We kept A.J. Green. Like, come on, guys. You know, we've paid our players. And the organization right now at this point in time with Elizabeth Blackburn and the Brown family working collectively together have made big moves to make sure that this team stays relevant and that they bring in additional revenue. So, man, I'm super proud of how they did that and what they're doing right now. You mentioned Paycourt, all that stuff, man. It's super. It's something to be really proud about.
Yeah, and I had Emily Parker on the show yesterday, and I said, "You guys got a nickname for Paycor?" She said they call it PS. I'm like, well, somebody sent it to Ace, and Ace retweeted it as the core, and I thought that was pretty cool. But, I kind of like calling it the core. I like that, but then some people are like, "Oh, it's called Pay-Joe Stadium," which I'm like, "Yeah, okay, well, that's kind of like I got it," but I'm like, "I want something kind of cool." We have PBS, and DABP, like now we got the core, the core in the core. I don't know.
I like that. I like the core at the jungle. I like that.
There you go. All right, Michael here has another one. Which I get this question a lot. What's your take on Eli Apple? I'll let you go first, man.
Yeah. So Eli Apple, man. So I'm one of the guys on Eli Apple where I like what Eli Apple did last season. To me, look, we know Eli Apple played above what he has played in the past, but here's the deal. He's going against Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins every day in practice. When you get more reps, you get better. And they also have CTB, Cam Taylor-Britt, behind him, pushing him. So I think Eli could play at a high level this season. To me, though, he has to prove it every single game because we need him to play at a high level. And this team really, in my opinion, is built to win a championship. And I just don't want that to be the weakness. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's just got to prove it every week. And I think he knows that. He's on a one-year deal. And it's technically a prove-it deal. If he doesn't play well this season, he could very well be out of the league or going somewhere, another journeyman to another team. So I don't think he wants that. So he's got everything right now.
I think Eli gets not enough credit. I'm not saying he had a great year. He played good, but he gets a lot of blame, especially like in the Super Bowl. Well, they got the touchdown, which I love Zach Taylor and I love Lou Anarumo. My thing is, why was Cooper Kupp not double teamed then? That's just my question that I always keep asking. But Eli also made the play of the year against Tyreek Hill in the AFC Championship game. If he doesn't tackle him right before halftime, Eric, I don't know if we come back to win that game. So I mean, that was he's made plays. I mean, there's another interception that he tipped up. Yeah, Titans game. Yeah, that was him.
Critical.
He got burnt. He's a cornerback. He's going to get burnt. Is he an all-pro? No. Is he adequate? Yes. Does he have to get better? Yeah. Is Cam Britt-Taylor there to replace him eventually? Yes. These are all realities. But Eli Apple is not as bad as he gets characterized a lot. And I think a lot of that has to do with all his trash talking on Twitter, too. I don't think that helps a lot.
A lot of the hate from Eli is coming over from these franchises to where he didn't work out how they thought he was going to work out. The Saints, the Giants. And, Eli is a menace on social media, right? But I think a lot of people tend to fall into the antics, and then to make personal judgment on Eli when in reality, man, look, he's still in the NFL. He could play at an all-pro level this season. And last season, as far as I'm concerned, he played well for the Bengals. We were expecting Trey Waynes to play. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. He was supposed to play.
Exactly. So,
that's what I kept telling everybody. I'm like, Eli was supposed to be the backup. So, I mean, he played for a guy that was supposed to be a backup. He played pretty good, so he got some slack.
Absolutely, man. He played very well. And then Trey Waynes really didn't even play really much at all for us. So, and Eli, like you said, critical plays in key moments against the Chiefs. He had to stop on Tyreek Hill. And then you talk about the game against the Titans. He makes that play, he knocks it up in the air. Logan Wilson picks it off, and then we go and win the game. Yep. That's the biggest play of the game right there in that moment.
That is the game right there. So, I mean, you don't make that play, dude. Yeah, so that's where because I remember because I went to that Titans game and I went to work the next day and I'm like, oh, it's Eli Apple. I was like, oh, some guys like Eli Apple's garbage. You're going, did you see the play? Like he made one play. I said, no, he's made more than one play during the year, but that's one of the biggest plays of the freaking year, and you're calling him garbage now? Like, dude, get out of here! You guys just want to hate on him. That's all. You just want to hate him just to hate him. I'm like, that's stupid. And they're big on
man.
Anyway,
you know what, man? The one thing Spaces has showed me, man, is that there's football fans and football savants, but there's also people who want to push narratives and just hate people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You have to know how to separate the two. You know.
Exactly. All right, so other competition we got going on is the punters here and also long snappers, but it's kind of hard to judge the long snappers. But the punters, I don't know if you've seen any of the videos or anything. As far as punting goes, to me, Drew looks like he's got the better leg. I mean, he is drilling the ball. Nothing against Kevin Huber. I love Kevin Huber, but I want what's best for the Bengals. And when they were doing the kicks today with Shooter, Drew was doing most of the holding then, which that's kind of interesting because that to me, because Darren Simmons even said this on my podcast. He said it's more like, I can't remember percentages he said, but it's more 50-50 now for a punter. It used to be 99.99% punting the ball, maybe 5% or whatever. I know my percentages are off there, but 5% of it holding. He said they're about equal right now compared to holding to punting as much, especially since you have a weapon like Shooter. So I don't know where you're at on this, or have you been able to do any deep dives on punting, which that's where we're at in training camp here. We don't have a whole lot of battles going on.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big battles this camp for the Bengals, the punter battle. And Kevin Huber is a hometown hero straight out of UC.
Bearcat, baby.
So we want to see him succeed. We're always rooting for him. He's been here for I don't even know how long he's been here. But when it comes to what's better for the team, as long as Drew Chrisman can hold and he's booting the ball and putting other opposing offenses in bad field position, I think to me the writing's on the wall. We watched a couple games last year for Kevin Huber to where punts actually hurt us, and it just seemed like he kind of lost that flair. Now I did hear he'd been working out really hard this offseason, and that he's gotten stronger. But in my opinion, if Drew's kind of hitting it harder and he can hold, the holding part to me, if he's holding most of the kicks, that's a big sign that Darren Simmons is giving him this opportunity.
At least today he was.
Exactly. Because he might be holding in the game too,
we'll have to find out Friday night. That'll be something.
Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah.
But Eric, this is what cracks me up. I was like, usually, Bengals like, oh, we got this hole, we got that. We're talking about a punter, dude. We're talking about punters, man. That's how this team is. I mean, we're stacked everywhere. I mean, I'm so excited about this season, and I haven't yet to do my season predictions yet, which I'm kind of behind on that. But what is your thoughts on this season? I know the schedule is tougher than last year, but in my opinion, it's not that much tougher. I mean, we had a pretty tough schedule last year. So where are you at on the Bengals 2022 season?
Yeah, I had something pulled up, man, because my man, the German Tiger on Twitter, the guy's always coming with the stats. This guy is a stat animal. You know what I'm saying? He brought something to Bengals Twitter attention, which I was kind of aware of it. I know the schedule they're saying I think is the third toughest in the NFL or something like that, or whatever the case may be. But you really don't know until you see how the season plays out, how tough the schedule really is. Right? Last season, the Bengals went 8-4 against AFC teams, 4-2 against the AFC North, 5-3 on the road, 4-0 against AFC playoff teams, 3-0 in the against the AFC in the playoffs. Look, I know we have a tougher schedule. This is a really good team. When you look across this roster, they don't have many holes. When you watch last season, as a fan, when you actually watch the games last season and you look at really game to game, there were a lot of instances to where the Bengals actually could have probably won 12 to 13 games.
Oh, yeah. The Jets game.
The Jets game, the Packers game, the 49ers game. Those are three games right there that I say, hey, look.
They should have won.
these games very well they should have won. They could have won. They could have won 13 games last season.
We could have number one seed.
They would have had the number one seed. So I think this team is going to be really good next season. I know people are expecting regression, but anytime you have a guy at the helm like Joe Burrow, who I don't want to compare him to Tom Brady because he hasn't done anything like Tom Brady yet, but he has Tom Brady-esque like qualities and Tom Brady-esque like impact. I think the team believes in what they're doing. The team believes in Joe Burrow, and they believe that if they got Joe Burrow at the helm, they can do this. Chidobe Awuzie said yesterday in an interview that he said that, and this is an awesome story. Go check out the Winston-Eddie podcast. Ace and Zim did an interview with Chidobe Awuzie. In an interview, he says, "Hey, look, the night of the before the Super Bowl, him, Jesse Bates, and Joe went up to Joe's room to watch the UFC fight because they didn't go to the fight because, of course, they had the game, right? He said that, he's like, hey, man, he asked Joe, he said, hey, to make it short, he said, hey, how do you sleep at night, man? You're about to play the biggest game of your life. How are you sleeping? And Joe said, I'm about to sleep like a baby. And he said, when he heard that, he said, hey, man, I heard that. He said, hey, I'm good. I know not to be nervous. I'm ready to go. So I just thought that was so powerful to hear that from Chidobe Awuzie. And that's what I'm saying. People will sleep on this team, Ice, and people are going to tell you everything they want to tell you in the media. But here's the deal, man. This is a very special team. And honestly, this season to me is a believer's tour because they're going to make believers out of everybody. That's just the way
I like that. Now, I'll steal a line from our man, Zim. Jackpot Joey Burrow is a psychopath in a good way. I mean, he is all ball all the time, and he is supremely confident in what he's doing. So, for him to say he's going to sleep like a baby, that doesn't surprise me at all. Now, me as a fan, hell no, I didn't sleep like a baby. I was pacing. I was up. I was like dude, honestly, the playoffs started, the Raiders game. I got on my first space. It was like, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't freaking sleep. So I'm down here in Ice Cave scrolling the Twitter. I'm like, oh, all right, listen. I started talking to other Bengals fans that couldn't sleep. And I'm just a fan. And Jerry's like, I'm going to sleep like a baby. Dude, hey, that's why he's Jackpot and I'm Strawberry. This is different.
Hey, man, that's why, man. Now you still got ice in your veins, Ice. I know you still got the ice in your veins, man. Man, Joe Burrow is super special. I actually had an opportunity before we drafted Joe Burrow. I think his junior year at LSU, I had an opportunity to meet his cousin down at one of the bases in Fort Bragg, and an awesome leader, just a phenomenal guy. And like when I met this guy, I didn't know much about Joe Burrow, right? I met this guy and I said, man, this guy is special. I'm not even lying to you, man. I said, dude, this guy is special. He has it. Like this guy is like maybe a little bit older than me, just a little bit. Like this guy is like incredible. Next week, I go back home. I watch Joe Burrow play UCF in the I think it was a Fiesta Bowl. He gets killed, and they come back and beat a team that hasn't lost in 22 games. And I was sold ever since, man. So just a special kid, man. That from Ohio kid, loves being from Ohio, loves playing for an Ohio team, and what a great time, man. What a great time.
Exactly, dude. I'm 47 years old. This is the golden era for the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, hopefully I've watched them lose their last Super Bowl. I hope so. We keep getting closer. It's 5 points and 4 points. And we lost by 3 last year. Dude, let's go win this damn thing. I'm excited. I cannot wait. Friday night, I'm going to be in the jungle. I know it's preseason, but I don't care. It's going to be a blast. Eric, I appreciate you coming on, man. Tell everybody about your podcast, Winston-Eddie, and anything else you want to plug before I let you go.
Man, I appreciate that. Follow me on Twitter at @JustEric_ on Twitter. That's kind of where you can find me right now. I'm working on building up my own YouTube channel. I'll probably be bringing some content in the season, almost like a blog for each game that I'm able to travel to. So that'll be pretty dope. But right now, man, I'm on the Winston-Eddie podcast with Ace and Zim. I do my own show. It drops every Monday. It's called the 513 with J.E. And then so check out the Winston-Eddie podcast there. On Mondays, you can see me. And then Ace and Zim, they do a great show on the Winston-Eddie podcast too. And they always have great guests. I want to say Ryan Yuntz. He also works with the Winston-Eddie podcast.
Ryan's good too.
Ryan is phenomenal. So check us out there in the Winston-Eddie podcast. Great team, great content. and follow me on Twitter. That's really where you can find me right now. Hope to grow in other places, but that's where I'm at right now.
There you go. Go follow him. Now, are you planning on coming to Cincinnati for a game this year?
Absolutely. I'll be there game 1 and possibly for the Miami game when we play Miami, and I'll make another one there too.
You got to come to the Jackpot Joey tailgate. I'll have some Jackpot Joey beer for you to sample.
Heck yeah, man. I'll be there.
All right, brother. Sounds good, Eric. Appreciate you, man. Hoo-day.
All right, brother. Hoo-day.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Go follow Eric. He's at Just Eric on Twitter. Go check out his YouTube channel and check his podcast out every Monday on the Cincinnati podcast. And, of course, go check out my boys, Ace and Zim. They're always killing it. They're a lot of fun to watch. You know, Zim's my dude. He brings the fire every time. All right, let's get to the Facebook groups that let me live stream, and I appreciate every single one of them. They're Houday Nation, Houday Legion, Bearcat Ruckus, the Ohio State Bucknuts, and then you can follow me on all my the Ice Bar. Don't forget the Ice Bar. Then you can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Twitter handle is at Jeff A. Trunapole. TikTok is at Iceman90. I got 2 podcasts I can pull off here. I'm trying to put them both on the podcast tonight, but make sure you check out the podcast on BeanPod, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcasts. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. Leave a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. I would greatly appreciate it. YouTubers, like I said, we're at 1,822 subscribers. You guys are awesome. September 11th, right around the corner. Let's try to get to 2,000. I got to put together the training camp video. I'm going to do that tonight. I'm going to be on Bengals and Brews here in about 45 minutes. So we're going live there at 7. It's me, Dale, Kieran, and I think since James is going to be on, is going to be on there. So make sure you guys check out my boys, Bengals and Brews. Stay tuned to the channel. I'll have the training camp video out hopefully tonight. If not, early tomorrow. So stay tuned to the channel. It will be coming. There's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of fun things. Friday night, I will not have a live show. You might have to follow me on Twitter to see what I'm doing. So thanks, Dale. Thanks. I know. I try. I was trying to hook us up. I know. I got to get out of here. Go get on your show. So no show Friday. Tomorrow I'm going to record something with Caleb from the news anchor or sports anchor, from Channel 9 here locally in Cincinnati. So stay tuned for that. Like I said, a lot of stuff going on. Jackpot Joey beer is coming. It should be out by the first game. If you find me Friday night, I will be walking around with some of it that you guys can taste. So check it out. I think that's everything. Go check out Bengals and Brews tonight, 7 o'clock. Subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. Go Bengals. Let's have some fun. And as always, that's just sports, baby. See ya!
Let's go. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black, and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, Houday, we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle, we unite and drippin' orange and black is like Houday when we fight, live and die in these fights. Wake up the feast, every day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle, drippin' heat. Tigers strike the city streets. East side, stand up. West side, stand up. If you reppin' Houday, time to put your hands up. Bingle stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati, jungle fitted. Houday in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle drippin'. Nasty, natty, yeah, we live it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feastin' now. Fit the bounce, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that Houday muscle on them. Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle, we unite and drippin' orange and black is like Houday when we fight.